Hello, everybody, and welcome to the actual final episode of 2025, the end of the year wrap up, where we talk about the rest of the stuff that we usually don't talk about here on the Media Boat podcast. My name is Mike. His name is still Matt.
My name is still Matt. I haven't changed it yet. And his name is still Mike. This is the Media Boat Podcast Year End Wrap Up Special. If you're listening to this, you've probably already heard us recap the year in movies, video games, music, and television, not necessarily in that order. We gave you our top fives. We gave you our picks for the site's winners. We recapped the news. But what about the stuff we didn't talk about? What about the news stories that fell through the cracks because they weren't in any of those categories? And what about the year to come? What mystery does 2026 have to offer us? Well, we're here to talk about those things for you today. So that way you go into the new year prepared.
That's right. We're here to help service and fill in the gaps of everything, including
Oh
politics.
no! Why?
Uh, because we always start this with politics because we do not cover politics. We say that on the show
Well,
consistently. We
we try
don't
not
cover
to,
politics
but
until they
here's the
eat
thing.
their ugly head into our news stories.
Exactly. There's a lot of crossover, and that happens a lot. So we've mentioned probably things outside of these things before, but like maybe not in specifics.
Yeah. So, one, new president change. No more White House. People are invading California. Whatever's going up in Seattle.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's too complicated for us to get in here, but yeah, there's a lot of chaos. I think chaos is the word I would use for the first year of this administration, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon, it looks like.
To be fair, we did use chaos as the word to describe Microsoft this past year.
Hey, coincidence, I think.
I think not, but also I think. But also, if you want to see the chaos, look at what South Park was doing over the course of this past year
Or
in their
don't.
direct commentary. Or
Don't
don't.
watch that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
'cause that's supporting Paramount, and we don't want to support Paramount anymore. But anyways, we had quite the year of 2025. I mean, we covered pretty much everything in sports already in the television section. But
Mhm,
new winners, new champions. Shai Alexander was pretty much the story in the NBA this year, getting the triple double, getting the triple crown, getting the MVP award, helping Oklahoma City achieve its first championship game and win and title, and just basically being the guy now in the NBA. Move
yeah.
over LeBron. You are no longer the face of the NBA. But I would say the second close story, which is a very fighting effort, all the sports gambling that occurred that we kind of tangentially talked about here with the sports betting, with the tossing of pitches, and the leading to two players being indicted. We also had sports betting fiasco in the NBA, where several players were accused of manipulating sports bets and fined by the league for it, including a coach as well as the illegal online gambling of the poker table setup as well through the NBA
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
Miami. So
Yeah.
strong case for that.
Yeah, I think it'll be something to watch, especially now that internet gambling is now expanding beyond sports to major new apps. Not necessarily new. They've been around for a little bit, but Polymarket and Kalshi are now the new hotness because they let you bet on things like sports in every state because they have ways to skirt around legality.
Mhm.
This is going to be bad, I think, because then it just sets fire to people who weren't able to bet on sports before, and it just makes it more accessible. And yeah, I think that this is not going to go away. It's only going to get worse.
I mean, Mbappe was last year, right? For Shohei? Was that
Yes.
this beginning of this year?
That was last year, I think.
I'll say that was last year, but this year was the Little League World Series coming out and saying, please don't bet on the
Yes.
kids.
Yes. Whew.
But people gonna bet, like you said, they will find a way. These
People will
sports
find a
leagues
way.
are embedded with it, and in some cases, help to write the laws that allow them to do this.
Yeah.
So if you have a gambling problem,
Call
don't
that
come to
number.
us. We're not the place
Yeah.
for it.
There's a number for you, but we can't tell you what it is.
No, we cannot. All right. I mean, overall, how would you describe 2025 besides like chaos?
I mean, that's the best word. I also think that it felt transitional,
Hmm.
like a lot of years that we have a new administration in the White House. I mean, that's to be expected, but also culturally, I think that it felt like there was a rebound of stuff that we thought that we had left by the wayside years ago, like people openly calling people slurs, for example. It looks like there's a lot of things that we left in the 2000s that are now rearing their heads again, and yeah, it does not bode well for the latter half of the 2020s unless something drastic changes. The vibes are off, I guess, is what I would say.
Yeah. I would say this is a shift, but more in a technological
Mm.
shift
But not in the
because
good way.
AI, not in a
Yeah,
good way. No, AI is now everywhere in everyone's pocket. Everyone uses it on a daily basis. Siri used to be like the companion pal that you had only if you had an iPhone. Um, But now people rarely use it. They go to ChatGPT now. They go to Gemini. They go to whatever Copilot is currently running your website because it will pop up and say, "Can I help you with something?" The
yeah.
integration of AI across everything is helpful in some, but more harmful around others.
I think, like, ultimately, though, the question that 2026 hopefully will answer is whether this stuff is just going to be inevitable, like all the tech people want you to believe, because they're trying to shove it down your throat in order for you to believe that, or whether this bubble will end up bursting. There's a lot of evidence that it could. There's a lot of evidence that the money here is not as solid as the tech bros believe it is. And if ultimately people just aren't using this tech, like what word has been coming out about Microsoft with Copilot, then ultimately, why are they investing money into it? And I think that if that keeps being the story, we're going to get to a point where even the tech companies have to admit this is going nowhere. If you're developing a company for like developing a technology for a brick wall, there's no reason for that technology to exist because brick walls notoriously cannot use technology.
Are you
So,
talking about the dead internet theory, which is more reality than a theory at this point?
I mean, if it's not being used, it's not doesn't matter. And I think that ultimately the tech people either have to make a case or not. And I don't think that they're making a case. Clearly, like story after story is coming out about these people like the stats just don't bear it out that people actually care. Even if they do use it, it's like you said, giving them problematic results that have to be viewed by a second party anyways. I just don't know where this is going. And so, yeah, I think this year will be interesting, an interesting case study, at least, to see whether this has been just a giant waste of time or not.
I mean, same thing could be said about MoviePass because you have the data, but if no one's going to sell the data and if
Right.
no one's going to
Want it.
appreciate
Yeah.
or like invest in the data, then it's really a giant waste of time, which I
Yeah.
abused wholly on MoviePass, by the way.
Yeah. But in this case, you can't watch like movies. Like this is not, this doesn't even have like a good thing that provides it to you that is
Hmm.
not like, riddled with errors. Like there's not even like a benefit really to an average person beyond, well, this is something that I could have Googled and it would have taken maybe 3 seconds longer. Like it's just not there yet. And I don't know if it ever will be. I just don't think we're ever going to have this magical software that solves all our problems. I just don't think that's ever going to be possible as much as they want us to believe that we already have it.
The Good Place solved the AI problem with Janet.
Exactly. We're not going to get to Janet's anytime
No, we're
soon.
not. All right. Uh, anything else about 2025 then?
I mean, it's a year that I'm happy to be leaving in the dust. I think that it just seemed like it was not a good time for most people that I know.
Well, it's also not a good time for people who died in
Well,
2025,
yeah, turns out.
as we tallied 69 deaths over the
Not
course of
nice.
this past year,
That's not nice.
in, including, but not limited to, Greg Gumbel, David Lynch, Bob Euchre, the Bears owner, Virginia Hallis McCaskey, Gene Hackman, George Foreman, the boxer and the griller,
Mhm.
Val Kilmer. We had a Pope die, Pope Francis.
Yep.
We also had a new Pope, Pope
Hmm.
Chicago, Pope Leo. Uh, Also, death of George Wendt
Speaking of Chicago.
and Jim Irsay, Jonathan Joss, Sly Stone, but not that Sylvester Stallone,
No.
Brian Wilson, Anne Burrell, Michael Madsen, James Michael Ozzy Osbourne,
Mhm.
and Hulk Hogan, Robert Redford, Dane, Jane Goodall, Diane Keaton, Nick Mangold, Rob Reiner, and Michelle Singer Reiner. And lastly, the death that was heard around the world and celebrated by most, Dick Cheney.
Yeah, we don't need to say anything about that. We didn't already say. So
Yes.
yeah, some rough ones, some not so rough ones, but yeah, definitely a lot to deal with, and that's just scratching the surface.
Yeah, I mean, a lot more that did, of course, happen over the course of 2025. These were just some of the notable ones. But as with every death, we do have rebirth, and we look forward to
Yes.
2026.
I think the way we should do this is why don't you go through the television shows and movies, and I'll go through what I was able to find with video games and music.
All right. So we're going to mainly focus on new TV shows
Yes.
coming to in 2026. Because we know shows that will return because we talk about them in cancellations and renewals. Like, really looking forward to The Pit, season two, coming out real soon. Shrinking, season two. Other shows returning. But these are your brand new shows that could end up on your top five by the end of the year, including the newest entry in the Star Trek franchise, Star Trek: Starfleet Academy, over on Paramount Plus, taking the school approach to Star Trek. We also have the Game of Thrones prequel. No, not that prequel of the House of Dragons. Another one. This one titled A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, coming to HBO Max. Hey, remember Star Search?
I do.
Well, it's back, hosted by Anthony Anderson over on Netflix this year.
Sure. Why not?
Ryan Murphy's coming out with a new show titled The Beauty over on FX. And Marvel's Wonder Man will be coming to Disney Plus. The show I feel like we talked about 2 years ago, starring Daniel Radcliffe and Tracy Morgan and Erica
Yeah.
Alexander, about a documentarian following the return of a football star, will finally be coming out on NBC, titled The Fall and Rise of Reggie Dinkins. Also on network television, that reboot of Scrubs. It's happening.
Still somehow happening.
Sequel, though, because they're bringing the very old
Yeah.
cast back. We also have a new murder mystery starring David Harbour and Jason Bateman, titled DTF St. Louis, coming to HBO Max. If you didn't get enough Chase Infinity in One Battle After Another, she will star in the upcoming sequel to The Handmaid's Tale, the follow-up series titled The Testaments, over on Hulu, because The Handmaid's Tale ended this past year.
Yeah.
And lastly, in new TV shows for 2026, yet another comedy from Bill Lawrence titled Rooster. This one will star Steve Carell, Bill Lawrence staple Ted McGinley, and Phil Dunster of Ted Lasso.
Yep. Yep.
Um, the brief premise was that this would be set in a high school campus where Steve Carell's daughter would be dating one of the students and hijinks ensues. But
Mm.
it's a Bill Lawrence comedy,
Right.
titled Rooster. I assume this is going to be premiering on Apple TV Plus.
Probably.
Any of those catch your eye?
It's kind of a mix, and
It's
some of
okay if you
these are
say
going to
no.
be real wait and see kind of things. So yeah, I don't know quite yet.
Yeah, none of these like stand out as like, all right, like that's going to be the show. I mean, maybe the Game of Thrones prequel because they actually took their time with this, but we saw what happened with House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Mm, do people still care about this world? It's kind of like where we're at there.
We'll see.
And yeah, Star Search, it's back. Get searching
It's
for the
back.
stars. Anthony Anderson had to do something in 2026.
Yeah.
But we have movies coming out. And some of these, actually a couple of these, will end up on my end of the year list. We're going to start at the top with Wuthering Heights.
Yeah.
Get your Bronte on. February 13th for Valentine's Day, starring Margot Robbie and as Catherine Earnshaw and the Viscount himself, Jacob Elordi, as Heathcliff.
Okay.
Also,
Not the
Charlie
cat.
XCX is going to create an album for this, a new 12 songs.
Yes, yes, that's on the music list here. But yes, yeah, it will be in like released alongside the film.
Well, not to be confused with the other Charlie XCX film that is coming
Right.
out as well,
Yes,
which
the
she is starring in.
mockumentary thing is different.
Yes. We also have How to Make a Killing coming February 20th, starring Glenn Powell on a murderous rampage for $1 billion inheritance.
Okay.
Sounds like a fun concept. It's from A24. Uh, Glenn Powell, hit and miss.
Yeah, turns out.
The Running Man, hit and miss. Uh, we also have Scream 7 coming February 27th, which features the return of Nev Campbell.
Okay.
Welcome back. We have the Pixar film Hoppers on March 6th. The next Phil Lord Chris Miller film, Project Hail Mary, coming March 20th, which will be starring Ryan Gosling. That Billie Eilish Hit Me Hard and Soft tour, directed by James Cameron, coming March 20th. And then we get into kind of summer movie season with that Super Mario Galaxy movie coming April 3rd. And Brie Larson will be joining that cast as Rosalina.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So that's now popping on my radar to watch.
All right, cool.
We also have The Drama coming April 3rd, which is see we'll see Zendaya and Robert Pattinson getting married. Or will they? I heard there's drama.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe it was math. I just remember there being a lot of drama. We
Very
also
funny.
have the biopic from Antoine Fuqua, Michael, about Michael Jackson, coming April 24th. And then kicking off the official summer movie season is The Devil Wears Prada 2, coming May the 1st.
Right.
We also have Mortal Kombat 2, uh, coming out May the 8th, after it already shifted to release dates, because it's supposed to come out in October of this year. We also have The Mandalorian and Grogu coming out on May 22nd. That is being directed by Jon Favreau.
Okay.
In case anyone is interested, Jared Leto will be playing Skeletor
Oh
in
God.
Masters of the Universe coming out
No,
June
thank you.
5th. Uh, Media Boat favorite Josh O'Connor, sorry, back to back Media Boat Best Picture champion Josh O'Connor
Exactly.
will be in Disclosure Day on June 12th. This one being directed by Steven Spielberg. Uh, we also have Toy Story 5 coming out June 19th, because that's still happening. Supergirl will also be coming out on May 26th. sorry, that should be June 26th. Uh, it's the next film in the DCU, which, following Superman this past year. Excited about that one. And we also have two Because Money movies. Minions 3 on July 1st, Because Money,
Yep,
and Moana, the live action, on July 10th.
somehow.
Yes, which, follows Moana 2, which was released this year. The Odyssey will grace all IMAX screens on July 17th, thanks to DGA president Christopher Nolan. And Spider-Man Brand New Day will swing its way into theaters on July 31st, assuming it keeps its spot and is not moved out due to production issues.
Who can say?
Uh, we also have Sense and Sensibility coming out on September the 11th. You know, it's perfect timing for September 11th holiday. It's also 30 years since Ang Lee's version. It'll also be 40 years since Practical Magic, as Practical Magic 2 will come out on September 18th and reunite Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock.
Okay.
Aaron Sorkin is having a sequel esque in The Social Reckoning on October 9th. This one will star Jeremy
Right.
Strong, Jeremy Allen White, and Mikey Madison.
Right.
The next chapter in The Hunger Games, The Sunrise on the Reaping, will premiere on November the 20th because sequels and money and they don't want the IP to die. And lastly, your big movies of
Yes.
2026. Avengers Doomsday, December 18th, assuming it keeps its date. And it'll be competing against Dune Part 3, or Dune Messiah, or Dune Chapter 3, or Dune or Done 3, whatever they want to
Whatever you
call
want to
it.
call it. Yeah.
Also premiere will be out on December 18th, assuming it keeps its date. I don't see these two competing against each other. If I had to pick one to move, it would be Avengers Doomsday, but they
Yeah.
already moved that from earlier in the year to later in the year. And
I don't,
Dune
yeah.
2, we know, moved from 2022 to 2023, or 2023 to 2024. Because
I keep seeing people say that neither is going to budge, that they're going to play chicken until the last second.
well, you see, Dune 3 kind of has to come out because Timothy Chalamet has to have a movie in December.
Yeah.
And if it's not Dune 3, he's gonna miss it. And he doesn't miss dates.
No.
Just ask
Turns
Zendaya.
out. So funny.
All right. But yeah, those are your movies coming in 2026.
All right. Okay.
I guess,
So some stuff to look forward to, like a mix, it looks like, of things.
like I said, I got my eyes on those two in December,
Yeah.
as well as The Odyssey, because Christopher Nolan. And really interesting to see how Lord Miller pulls off Project Hail Mary,
Yeah.
because we like it. Or we like
Yeah.
Lord Miller. They're
Yeah,
great
we do.
directors. I'm not really sold on the trailer though, but we'll see.
I mean, yeah. The thing is, we don't have enough information quite yet, but we'll gain more, I'm sure, as the
Well,
year
it's
starts
based
to
off a
ramp it up.
book,
Yeah.
Project Hail Mary.
All right. Well, I guess that means that we can move on to the other two sections we cover here with video games and music. We'll start with video games. It's a much smaller list. Notoriously, video game developers and publishers are pretty quiet about new releases, and announcements usually happen months before, not a year before. So we don't know a whole lot. Half of these are definites, and half of these are probablys. We start with the games that we know are coming out, including games that were covered in the Nintendo Direct most recently for Switch 2, including Mario Tennis Fever, the new Mario Tennis game,
Mhm.
Pokemon Pokopia, which is that life sim with Ditto, Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection. I think they're in the series. We also know Diablo 4 will get a new expansion next year called Lord of Hatred. We know that IO Interactive's James Bond game 007 First Light is still slated for next year, even though it got pushed back a couple of months later. I believe that's a summer release now. We know Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight is coming. I bet you're excited for that one.
Yep, that one's for me.
And of course, we know that by the end of the year, we will have Grand Theft Auto 6. Finally here, even though it was supposed to come out this year.
Assuming it keeps its date.
So those are the ones with release dates. Here's the list of not really no release dates, just kind of vague sometime in the next year. We have Ace Combat 8 Wings of Thief, Atomic Heart 2, Avatar Legends the Fighting Game, The Dusk Bloods, Fable, that reboot that Microsoft keeps teasing,
Mhm.
Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, a remaster of Fallout 4, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, Mina the Hollower, Mixtape, Onimusha Way of the Sword, Pokemon Champions, Prince of Persia The Sands of Time, the second time they're remaking it, Rhythm Heaven Groove, Scott Pilgrim EX, Star Wars Zero Company, that's the Respawn one, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, plus Meetup in Bellabelle Park, which is the expansion, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, and Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. You'll notice that a lot of these are Nintendo because they're pretty much the only company that's put out first party releases so far. We're still waiting on a lot of others. So we'll see.
Right, like that Wolverine game from Insomniac,
Yes.
supposed to come out in 2026.
No date.
Yep.
So we don't know. So that's video games. Any of those strike your fancy besides, of course, Lego Batman?
I mean, Lego Batman, but does this mean I probably have to play Grand Theft Auto 6?
I mean, yeah, one of us is going to have to see what that is, I think.
Ugh, unfortunately, I've not played a Grand Theft Auto game to completion.
Yeah.
The most I've played was San Andreas for I think 2 hours.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, I did play Grand Theft Auto online
Mm.
where I spent all of Shane's money at a strip club.
You know what? That's what you should have done, so I'm glad you did it. All right. Let's move on to music. So music is going to be a little bit more rapid fire because it's a little longer of a list. However, there's no guarantees that all of these come out. We do have a handful of ones that we know and have dates, but music is also something that's a little bit more flexible. So a lot of these are going to be artists that we are pretty sure are going to put out albums next year,
Mhm.
but don't put money on it. We start though with the ones we are for sure going to see. We start with a new Zach Bryan record called With Heaven on Top, the new Dry Cleaning Secret Love, ASAP Rocky with Don't Be Dumb,
Ugh.
Lucinda Williams with World's Gone Wrong, Joyce Manor's new record I Used to Go to This Bar, Rat Boys are back with Singing to an Empty Chair, the aforementioned Charlie XCX's Wuthering Heights soundtrack, and a new Gorillaz record called The Mountain.
Ooh. Those are
Here's
all
the ones.
confirmed.
Those are all confirmed. From here on out, we're just doing our best guesses. New Beach House record is expected. Beyonce is Act 3, whatever she follows up Cowboy Carter with, is slated to be released this year.
Grammy Award winning Cowboy Carter.
Yep. A new Big Thief record. Bruce Springsteen is on this list. Carly Rae Jepsen. Maybe it's
Mm.
about her new child, which will be born in the coming year. Death Grips.
Wait, is Carly Rae
Dochi.
Jepsen going to put out a wedding album?
I mean, maybe. We'll see. It would be on brand for her to do that.
Yes.
Dochi, after a breakout 2025, will be back with a proper record in 2026. Father John Misty, Flying Lotus, Foo Fighters will be back.
Mm.
Glorilla, um, fresh off of a Olympics breakthrough where people finally found out who they were. Heavy metal band Gojira, Harry Styles, Interpol, Casey Musgraves, Kaylani, Kim Gordon, Kim Petras, with a record that we know is called Detour. Lana Del Rey, which a record that has changed multiple names multiple times, but as of this recording is supposed to be called Stove. which just makes me think of Bridesmaids every time I read it.
Stove.
Do you remember the bit in Bridesmaids where she's drunk on the plane, Kristen Wiig's character, and the guy is like telling her to go back to her seat, and she goes, "You can't tell me what to do." Reads his name tag that says Steve Stove, and as she's walking away, she's like, "Stove isn't even a real name."
The famous part about that scene is the colonial woman on the plane, on the
Yes,
wing.
exactly. There's a woman in colonial garb on the wing. This is the 90s. Yeah, classic sequence. Anyways, we can't just talk about Bridesmaids for the rest of this. Let's continue. Local natives, Madonna, who supposedly is putting out Confessions on the Dance Floor Part 2 in 2026. We'll see.
Mm.
Mastodon, Mitski, McG, No Name, Normani, Olivia Rodrigo might return. Paul McCartney, sure, why not? Phoebe Bridgers, Ray, Robin, Sam Fender, Snail Mail, Spoon, Steve Lacy, Stevie Nicks, the 1975 with a album that is currently working title Dogs, the Afghan Wigs, The Cure, the Flaming Lips, the New Pornographers, the Roots, which have a record called Endgame, the Shins, the War on Drugs, the XX, Tori Amos, Tovlo, and maybe even U2.
Me too?
Yeah, you as well. No, U2, the band with Bono
Yes.
and The Edge.
Yes.
That's the list. So we'll see if any of those actually meet their dates, but we'll find out.
I mean, having a Olivia Rodrigo, having a Casey Musgraves, a Phoebe
Hmm.
Bridgers,
That'd be good.
Snail Mail just for you.
Some of them are just for you. Some of them are just for me. A little for
Yeah,
everybody.
a little
So we'll
for
see.
everyone. Foo Fighters coming out.
Foo Fighters.
All right.
We'll see.
Lots to look
But
forward
that's
to in 2026. But
yeah.
before we get to that, we have the Winter Olympics coming in 2026.
Yes.
Return of Gold Zone. We have
Yes.
World Cup in 2026 in the US.
Hmm.
Although
We
the
think.
finals is being played in MetLife Stadium and nothing should be celebrated in MetLife Stadium.
I guess we'll see.
But yeah, that's and those are two like big sports that happen every other year. Um, or at least every 4 years. Two for your gender swaps and weather swaps.
Yes.
But yeah, that is 2026. Lots to look forward to, including us. Like we
Yeah.
said, we've been doing this for 10 years,
Somehow.
and I see another 10 years in the future. Probably.
Probably, who knows? Well, but at this point, why would we stop? Is I think that the question now is less why continue, and the question now has become why stop. Like why? There's no reason to stop. We're so deep into it. There's no reason to not just keep going.
We have to have more seasons than LeBron James has played. At this point, the streak just has to continue.
Yeah.
You
At this
can't
point, we
abandon the streak
also
at
will
this
be
point.
doing this. Yeah, we will also be doing this, but when we're 41 and maybe beyond, we'll see.
Yeah, we're gonna keep doing this till we're 90.
I don't know about that. We'll see. All right. We'll see you guys on the other end in 2026. We'll join you there. In the meantime, check out our podcast feed. Check out our YouTube feeds. Just search Media Boat Podcast anywhere on the internet and you'll find us. And that will do it for 2025. Sayonara and see you on the other side.
Goodbye, 2025.
Yep.
Hello, 2026, which, if listening to the future, you can
Hmm.
listen to all that
Right now.
right now.
Bye.
Bye.